I was asked to come in today to share a short example of how I approach learning and development. I'm Tom, a learning and development specialist, and what I'll walk through is a 10-minute scenario-based microlearning called Documenting Decisions, Why It Matters. Just to set context, this isn't a finished training. It's a short example meant to show how I think through a learning problem and make practical design choices in a real work setting. The experience itself is 6 slides, includes a brief knowledge check with correct answers, and highlights one intentional design decision. I'll also briefly explain how I'd implement this in a real organization. This is a topic I've worked with repeatedly, and I've seen how small improvements in documentation habits can make a real difference in clarity, client experience, and project outcomes. Today I want to talk about a small behavior that has an outsized impact on projects. Documenting decisions, specifically the moments when alignment is highest. This isn't about more documentation. It's about protecting clarity, fees, and project momentum. Let's start with a scenario most project teams recognize. Imagine this. A decision is agreed to verbally, but nothing is written down. When decisions aren't captured in the moment, people remember them differently, and rework usually follows. No recap is sent, because everyone feels aligned. Weeks later, teams disagree on what was decided. This is the moment most teams recognize, but it's already too late. People already believe they document decisions. The gap isn't intent, it's recognizing the moment before alignment fades. Most gaps happen because teams don't always notice when a conversation turns into a decision. When documentation is delayed, it becomes harder to trace what was agreed to, and risk shows up later. Verbal alignment is assumed, documentation is delayed. But if a decision affects scope, responsibility, or risk, it should be documented. So the learning problem isn't motivation, it's recognition. Document decisions when direction changes, someone is clearly accountable, or a risk or trade-off is agreed to. This isn't a rule, policy, or a new process. It's a simple way to recognize when a decision should be written down, so teams stay aligned without adding extra steps. Accountability is assigned. Risk or trade-offs are acknowledged. If any one of those happens, that's the moment to document. Not later, not perfectly, just clearly. Capturing decisions at the right time helps teams avoid rework, protect fees, clarify ownership, and clearly explain how decisions were made if questions come up later. The most important time to document isn't after every meeting, or only for formal approvals. When a decision affects scope, such as changing a deadline, shifting ownership, or approving a cost or risk trade-off, it's time to document it. It's about reinforcing judgment. For example, this isn't telling someone how to document a decision or where to put it. It's helping them recognize when writing something down actually matters. Consistent documentation at decision moments supports operational efficiency and compliance simultaneously. What the DAR rule avoids. In practice, this avoids 4 common problems: rework and redundant effort, fee erosion, accountability gaps, late-stage disputes. Small documentation habits prevent expensive cleanup later. To close, this example wasn't about delivering finished training. It was about showing how I identify a real learning problem, design for judgment, and make intentional trade-offs under constraints. That's the same approach I'd bring to learning solutions here.